as freshmen, Oscar, when you and I played back in the late 50s and the 60s, freshmen were ineligible to play. So your freshman year, you were not eligible to play on the varsity. What was life like breaking into Cincinnati as a freshman? Let's talk as a student first, and then as a basketball player.
Well, as a student, I was in a course called the Business Administration. I was trying to get a marketing degree. Mm-hmm. And, to make a long story short, I'm not going to tell you about all the unpleasantries because there were quite a few in class. Yeah. But, it was a good course, good school, had some great professors. Basketball-wise, I was the only black on the team. And fortunate for us, we started playing basketball as freshmen. And people had 15 or 16 games we had. And people started filling the arenas up to watch us play. Mm-hmm. I thought it was tremendous. I didn't think that much about it. But, when you're in a situation like that, people are asking, do you think about all the things that No, you don't, because, I think when you're in America, you grew up in America in the South, like I did, and go to Indianapolis, see like in Indianapolis, you become you adjust yourself to all the things around you. Mm-hmm. So things don't bother you like they would other people. You know what I mean? All the things that happened to me when I was a freshman and in class, out of class, I didn't think about them. Mm-hmm. I wanted to go to school and play basketball.
Mm-hmm. And get an education. Oscar, you averaged 33 points a game as a freshman at Cincinnati, and you guys went 13-2. The first competition was the freshman varsity basketball game, and in that game you had 37 points and 17 rebounds and 8 assists. And so, welcome to the Big O at Cincinnati. So and then from there you guys went on to go 13-2, and you had 33 points a game as a freshman. Someone told me that there were more people coming to the freshman games than there were the varsity games.
There were. As a matter of fact, in that game, if he'd have kept our starters in the game against the varsity, we'd have beat them.
Mm-hmm. But he lost, 85, 83?
Yeah, but he didn't want that to happen. And I can understand why, but he was disappointed at the time because, the guys are when they start bragging in the dormitory and whatnot. Yeah. So, but anyway, they beat us by 2 or 3 points. But if he'd have kept the freshman starters in, we'd have won the game.
Yeah. Oscar, it was at Cincinnati that you acquired the nickname the Big O, and at that point you transferred into what I call sports history. The icon athletes in any sport, they were all known by a single name. Yeah. And the Big O was yours. How did you get that nickname, the Big O?
I think because maybe Elgin and probably Wilt, because Elgin was called a rabbit, mm-hmm. and Wilt was called Wilt the Stilt. Mm-hmm. And this radio guy, I can't think his name now, I think his name was Weber, could have been a different name now, mm-hmm. it eludes me, gave me the name the Big O. Mm-hmm. And so that's stuck with me since then.
Yeah. So take me back to your first game. You're now a sophomore, you're now eligible on the varsity, and you make your first appearance at Madison Square Garden, a legendary Madison Square Garden. And as you and I were talking off camera, in the days when you and I played, if you didn't play in Madison Square Garden, Chicago Stadium, and the Palestra, you had no chance of making All-American. So now here you are at Madison Square Garden for the first time, Cincinnati versus Seton Hall.
Yes.
And you beat them 118-54, and in this game you score 56 points, more than the whole Seton Hall team. And at that time, the 56 points, Oscar, was the most points by a single player in Madison Square Garden, NBA or college.
Yeah, because I think Elgin came on and got 75 or something like that. But anyway. It was a game. I didn't know that much about the game. I tell you, when I got into the first time ever going to New York, it just amazed me, all these buildings, just all over the place. We crossed into, and they charge you money to get into the city.
Yeah. The toll bridges and the tunnels and stuff.
When you're country, I guess you're country. But anyway, we get on the game. And we started playing, and it was open game, which I think it really helped me get to 56 points because they tried to run a little bit, but they didn't have that good a team. And lucky for me, the shots were going in. You know, what I mean, I didn't realize I had that many points because it didn't seem like I was scoring at all. To be honest, George, it seemed like I was in the game, but it didn't seem like
you scored them in the flow of the game.
Didn't seem like I was scoring very many points. I didn't know I had that many points, to be honest.
You know, it's strange about the game of basketball, but when you're in the flow and the rhythm of the game, you're really not looking and intent on trying to pile up a lot of points. That's when you get them, and then you're surprised. Someone tells you, "Oh, did you know you scored this month?" "No, I didn't know," and they think you're just saying that to be humble. But the truth is, you just got them in the flow of the game. And
exactly.
You realize
I was certainly surprised because at the end of the game, the guys picked me up on the shoulders. What the hell? What's going on? Hey, what's going on with you guys? And I still didn't know anything until I got in the locker room, and they had all these reporters in from different newspapers. They had so many newspapers there; it was unbelievable.
Yeah,
New York City.
Yeah. And so after the game and the interview, one of the reporters asked you, "Was this the biggest thrill you had in basketball?" And I loved your answer. You said, "No, the biggest thrill I had in basketball was when we won the state championship at Crispus Attucks."
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Well, I guess the writer man in New York didn't know anything about Crispus Attucks per se.
Yeah.
He was really surprised that I would give him this answer. I think it's Milk Gross.
Yeah, Milton Gross. Yeah.
Matter of fact,
you guys end up being pretty good buddies, didn't
well, I tell you why. When I sat down, he sat me down. He said, "I want to talk to you." He said, "You don't want to talk." I told him, I said, "I don't know you." I mean, come on. I mean, here I am from Tennessee, going to Cincinnati, and not seeing any black people, and hearing all the things happen to me. I didn't trust him. I told him, I said, I don't know you. So then he said, well. So then he got to know me over the years and got to be very good friends indeed. But I didn't know him. I was going to talk to him about it.
And he kind of mentored you and showed you how the way to deal with the media.
Yeah, he told me that that when you're a star player, you got to talk to the media. He said if you don't, they'll make it up, and then you'll be in a bad situation. And he's right, and I realized that.
Oscar, one of the unpleasant things that both you and I had to endure during our 4 years in college was the social injustice that was perpetrated on us when we went on the road to play. And in those days, you didn't have the mass communications, and a lot of times the teams really weren't that aware that you had black players. But so you go on the road, and you now playing on the road, and you're not allowed to stay in the same hotel with your teammates. In fact, you had to go over to Texas Southern to stay. Tell us about how humiliating that was, and what type of feelings went through your mind at that time.
Well, actually, when I was checked into the room by my coach, and I had my roommate guy named what was his name? He was a student manager. Anyway, I'll tell you the thing was named shortly. So the coach checked me into the room, and so he came up about 2 hours later and said that you can't stay here. Well, I thought he meant the whole team. I said, where are we going? But he didn't mean the whole team. He said, they don't want you staying here. I said, what? So anyway, I get my clothes, and he said, well, I'm going to send you over to Texas Southern. Well, to be honest, George, what he should have done says, we're not playing the game. But they didn't. Cincinnati didn't have the guts to do that. And so anyway, I went over to Texas Southern. I'm over there, and all these things are going through my mind: what to do, didn't know what to do, whatnot. I said, should I go home? I said, so I didn't think about going. I was think about going home. I was just mad at the situation. So we get dressed, go out on the court, and I went to center court. Other guys are warming up. I didn't take a shot.
Just stood there at center court.
People start throwing conies and quarters and hot dog buns and things like that. I didn't move. I just looked up at him.
Called me all kind, everything but child of God.
Yeah, but I didn't hear. I didn't hear all that stuff. I heard some things, but I just blocked it out. The game started. It was a rough game. I think I got 14 or 15 points, and they said how they held me. How we won the game, and how this one guy played great defense. Yeah, I said, I didn't say anything. I mean, here you are. But they didn't say that I didn't stay with the team. You know, the newspapers didn't say that at all. They just isn't that amazing that the newspapers? I don't think the newspapers in Cincinnati said a thing about that. And I, you know, George, I come back, you know, I had to see the coach. I got up early in the morning. I told my coach, I'd like to meet you. He said, fine. I said, you know, I don't think you did this because you checked me into the room. I said, if I know this, if I knew you wouldn't bother, I'd leave you. I wouldn't come back here to play. But I said, I don't think you did it because you did check me into the room. I said, you know, I I enjoy being here, I enjoy playing, but I said, since the situation is not equal, I don't want to go anywhere else with the team. When you have these social events, I said, I don't want to go. So he said, okay. So the team would go to places that, I mean, because a lot of places around Cincinnati, blacks couldn't go anyway. That if I just didn't feel like going, I told him I don't want to go. So he said, fine.